All right, so for in 2.3, or chapter 2 actually, we learned two different ways to solve equivalent fractions or equivalent ratios or equivalent rates, right? Basically, for example, we have a question like 25 apples are located in 3 baskets. All right, and we want to figure out how many apples are in 6 baskets. So this would look familiar to us. We saw it in the first parts of this chapter listed as ratios, so 25 apples for every 3 baskets, and then it was equal to a question mark, okay, or a variable, so x to 6. Okay, we said these ratios were equivalent, and we had to figure out how we did this. Well, we said, okay, we're going to put this into fraction form. So we said 25 over 3, okay, first number always goes on top, equals x over 6. And we said, okay, well, how do I actually figure out what x is? And we said, okay, well, method 1 is I can figure out how did I get from 3 to 6, okay? We talked about cake, and we said, okay, well, if we have a cake and we split it in half, that's the same as having a cake and splitting it, having 2 out of 4 pieces. We said 1/2 is the same as 2 out of 4 pieces. And we said, okay, well, how did I get from 2 to 4? Well, I multiplied it by 2. Okay, so I doubled the number of pieces, okay, or I split this cake twice more, okay? And if I doubled, you know, one part of the cake, I have to double all of the pieces, okay? So I have to make all of those pieces the same size. All right, so that's what we looked at when we were looking at these equivalent ratios. That's how we figured out our methods. We figured out, well, how do I get from 3 to 6? Times what? Okay, or divided by what? We only use multiplication or division. So we figured out, okay, well, 3 times 2, that's going to give me 6. And what I do on the bottom, I have to do on top. So 25 times 2, x is going to be equal to 50, right? And that would have been our answer. But we learned another method, okay, and this was 2.3 that we learned this week. We looked at that fraction. We said 25 over 3 equals x over 6. All right, and we said, well, there's an easier way to do this, and it's called cross multiply and divide, or the fish method. Okay, so my first step is I have to start at the non-variable. Okay, start at non-variable. Okay, it's always the number opposite to the variable. So if I look, there's my variable, my x is my unknown. I have to start at the 6. That's where I'm starting on. Okay, then my second step is I'm going to go diagonal. And when I get there, I'm going to multiply. Okay, so let's go diagonal from the 6. And we're going to multiply. So 25 times 6, okay, that is going to be 150. 150, okay? Then our third step is we're going to go either up or down, depending on where we need to go. And we're going to divide. All right, so I'm going to go down, and I'm going to divide. So we multiplied 6 by 25, that gives us 150, and then we're going to divide by 3, and we're going to always finish at the variable. So our variable is going to be, okay, 6 times 25, that gives 150. We divide by 3, 150 divided by 3, that's going to give me 50. Okay, and that would be my answer. So if you notice, okay, our answer here and our answer here are the exact same. We just did 2 different ways to solve them, okay? So one of them is cross multiply and divide, or the fish method. Okay, and the other one is finding that in between. Okay, more of a proportional way of solving these types of questions. All right, so if I was to create a new one, for example, all right, and I had, let's say, 7 over 17.5 is equal to 4 over 10, okay? To do the fish method, I would start, oops, my bad, I gave us that number. This would be an X, okay? I would start at that unknown, all right? So let's start at my non-variable, okay? So there's my variable. So I need to start at the one opposite to it. So I'm starting at the 10. Then I'm going to go diagonally and I'm going to multiply. 7 times 10 is 70. And then from there I'm going to go down for this one. All right, and I'm going to divide. All right, so 70 divided by 7.5 is going to give me my answer, and my answer is 4. Now, I had someone ask me a question about, well, what if the variable's in a different spot? What if this was 7 over x is equal to 4 over 10? It would be the exact same thing, okay? So we do it the exact same way. We go to, where's the variable? It's here, so I'd go through and I start at that non-variable. Okay, so I'd start at the 7 here. I go diagonally. I multiply. 7 times 10 is 70. All right, and then I go up this time to the other number and I divide here. 70 divided by 4 is going to give me my answer. 70 divided by 4 is going to give me 17.5. So I solve it the exact same way. It's the same steps. You just have to make sure that you start at the right one, and you always want to finish at the variable. All right, and basically the point of it is that when you solve it through, okay, you end up with this shape, okay, and I always call it a fish. All right, everyone seems to disagree with me, okay, but it's just an easy way to remember what that looks like. Okay, and that's what we covered in class.